Hello everyone, Dice here. Hope you all are doing great. Gosh, I'm not. My cabin's being rebuilt because the winter storm was way harsher than I could handle. And I can't stay inside because it's not safe or whatever. But they said it will be done soon. So I do need a way to pass the time. What to do? I brought some of my stuff from the house, like my Saturn and a few games, or a power brick. Anyways, what games do I have? I could possibly review one of those to pass the time. Wheel Wheel Sun, nah. Wheel Wheel Sue, nah. Night Sudsmo is this thing. Daytona, no. Oh, Content Boomerang. I think those are good games to review real quick. I might as well. I can get those done within the time it'll take to build the cabin back. Let's start with Cotton 2. Then Boomerang, since there's not much to cover with Boomerang. Now, let's start with what is Cotton 2? Well, first off, no. Cotton 2 and the other Cotton games altogether is not about slavery. Instead, at least for Cotton 2 and all the other Cotton games, well, besides the slot machine game for the PS2, because of course, the Japanese love gambling, but no. Cotton games are side-scrolling shoot-'em-ups. Oh, excuse me. Shoot-'em-ups. Yeah, I'm just gonna call it a shoot-'em-up, where you play as our main character Cotton trying to get a willow. No, not that one. These. In short, willows are candies, but there are also some willows that I use to power things like the Pumpkin Kingdom, which is where this game takes place. That's simple. Anyways, Cotton games are most of the time 2D, but there have been some 3D games. I have not played Rainbow Cotton or the Space Harrier looking one, so I can't really say how good the 3D ones are, but Rainbow Cotton looks like those flying seconds in Kid Icarus Uprising, so it might be good. But yeah, Cotton 2 is a pretty good game. Probably one of my favorite Saturn games, but besides that, the game's art style is also really good. Next to Rainbow Cotton and Cotton and Rock and Roll, up close or even better at points, even though the latter of the games has Bowser Part 2 animation, it's still quite good. Cotton 2 also has a pretty great sense of humor. I actually found a lot of the game really funny, but that's for later. Anyways, yeah, Cotton 2 is a pretty solid game. Cotton 2 was also released with an upgraded version called Cotton Boomerang, but I'll talk about that later, as I said many times before. Now, I should probably tell you that about the characters of Cotton 2, because I've just been talking about them. But you guys don't know anything about them, so let's get into that. Cotton 2, and the entire Cotton franchise as a whole, has a lot of characters, and a few characters from other games, like Goofy, which she's not from a game made by Success, and I have no idea how they got someone like her in Cotton Rock and Roll, but it's probably some legal method, or they own the company that made the game. I don't know. But that's not... That's what I was saying, but that's not what we were talking about. This is a video about Cotton 2, not Cotton characters. But Cotton 2 is the game that really established the main characters. Of course, we have the mainstays that has been the franchise since the first game, like Cotton, Silk, and Wool as the villain again, and even a few new ones like Apple and Needle. And it is also established more of the world, aka the Pumpkin Kingdom, which they never really expand on in later games. But Apple does still appear in the newer games, but sadly does have a story role for some reason. I don't care about Needle though. Let him take care of his kids or something. Don't ask me about how he had kids. I don't even want to try and think about that. Anyways, don't ask me about how he had kids. I don't even want to try to think. I read the same Edit me, cut that part out. All these characters are great. Have great designs, despite some characters' lack of clothing. Looking at you, Silk. But besides that, this game has great characters. I really have not found a franchise where there is no characters I find annoying. So this franchise where every character is fun to see is something really fresh and something I like. Well, I'm done with that. This game has great characters, and that's it. And now, let's get on to the actual game. I've been beating around the bush for so long now. Let's get into the actual game.
How I would define the sneaker equation.
I would say these sneakers have gone
through. Far south of the kingdom of Flamin, there is a land of fairies and witches. The land also lies the Pumpkin Kingdom. The people of the Pumpkin Kingdom live in peace due to the power of the Water Willow, a magical treasure that protects them and preserves the magical balance of the land. One day, one of the kingdom princesses, the Headstrong Witch Apple, secretly takes the Water Willow from the castle in the middle of the night to fulfill her own wishes. However, a sudden gust of wind blows Apple and the Water Willow into the forest on the edge of the city. She searches for the Water Willow, but cannot find it. The witch Cotton happens to be near and overhears that Apple is searching for Willow. Of course, obsessed with the magical candy, Cotton sets off to find the Water Willow herself so she can eat it. Alright, well that's the story. Now let's get into the gameplay. Starting with this is a really good starter stage, lets you get the hang of the gameplay and helps you learn how to play the game. It's also quite fun, especially for a starting stage, which are known for usually being boring tutorial stages, but I quite like it. And the boss is fine. You can cheese it quite easy, with spamming A and C with the power key and keyword pressing things. But yeah, the stage is quite good. Pretty good. It's quite good. Pretty good starting stage. Now, let's get to the cutscene. But yes, you see after every stage there are cutscenes. We then cut to Apple, seeing that the Water Willow is now over here. And now, wait, what's the name of that? What's the name of the hat again? Give me a sec. Oh, Needle. Wow, I keep forgetting how trash that name is. Anyways, back on topic. Needle is now suspicious of Apple, which took you long enough. And Khan bursts in, knocking Apple a bit and sending Needle to Valhalla. Khan demands for Apple to give the Willow that she also does not have. And then Khan starts foaming at the mouth, talking about Willows. These cannot be that good. Actually, hold on. I can actually try one. I saw a tree full of them. Don't ask how we have them over here. I don't know myself. Just gonna finish talking about the cutscene. Anyways, just gonna finish talking about the cutscene though before I, get to that. Anyways, as Cotton is really not caught about Willows, Apple just dips out, and Silk lets Cotton know she already left. And then we start for the next stage, but we'll get to that later. I want to try those Willows. Alright, I found it. Now let's try one. Well, that's alright. Nothing worth doing all what Cotton be doing all the time for that, but hey.
I love Israel.
glory to the amazing state of Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu is not a war criminal, and he has not been the cause of a genocide. Benjamin Netanyahu is my hero.
Interesting. Interesting. Anyways. Alright, and now you are thrown into a difficulty curve. This stage is like really hard for some reason. Like, no, but this stage is really hard. Especially because this stage where you get introduced to my least favorite enemy in all of Cotton. These pumpkins, these floating pumpkins that shoot at you, and then pulls up a nap to walks in and tries to whoop you. But this stage is quite good though, besides how much of a difficulty curve it is. Most of the Cotton stages are quite good. I love most of them. Personally, I like the arcade version of this stage look, but that's for later. Also, the boss looks like something that feels like I would see in a Japanese, post-World War II Japanese project. Good side, the boss is quite alright. It's a bit hard, but it's also really cool. I could not cheat that easily. This boss is not cheatable, but it can still be cheesed. Also, the cutscene is also funny. I mean, play it, because I'm not good at playing cutscenes like this. Well, on to the next stage. This stage is also fine. I don't care for it too much. It has a bit of enemy spam, but you can get through it with the throwing mechanic. But it can look like you're getting jumped at points, and also the boss again looks like average after World War II Japanese works. The cutscene is also pretty good, and again, it's basically really funny. That's all. The stage is fine. Anyways, on to the next stage. I actually really like this stage. I love how it looks in both the Saturn and arcade versions. I really like the tight space in the stage and how you have to choose the path you want to go to, and you choose the wrong path, or like choose the path. If you decide to change your path, like midway through, you just get shanked. And I just think that's cool. Also, in some sections, some legally distinct guys, turtle shells try and hit you. And the boss is actually quite good. I really like it. And the cutscene tries pulling the monk air Cartman throating bit for calling the willows. Well, anyways, time for the next stage. This stage is pretty good. I like it. But this stage is also the start of something that happens a lot more in the next stage, aka in the patterns, where there will be a small chunk of enemies that spawn in an order, like this. And this. That's pretty much it. I'm not really the best planner explainer guy, but I think you get my point. We'll expand more on the next to last stage. Second to last stage. But yeah, besides that, the stage is pretty good. It's one of my favorites. I love the underground cave part. The boss is weird. It kind of looks like an ancient god. It probably is, but I don't know. I might be stupid, but it's cool. Also, the cutscene after it was also quite good. But I'm also pretty sure. Now, hear me out, guys. Cotton looking over is one I'm 90% sure in part that one Susie sprite from the hit indie game, Deltarune. I know Telefox does play a lot of games, so add this to the Deltarune list of fan theories. Is Toby Fox a Cotton fan theory? Oh, I could be wrong. And it's just a coincidence and I'm crazy, but yeah. This stage is pretty cool, and now we're on to the next stage. and the second to last stage. Anyways, let's get into it. This stage is awesome. I feel like it feels like you're rushing into a place because you know damn well if you don't get there soon, you and the whole world is cooked. It's just a really good stage and fun stage. And the enemy spam feels in place this time because you are entering the final boss's domain. And gang, the music is so good. Like, that sounds evil. Bringing out all that for no reason. This stage is so good. I love how it's designed. It's a mix of castle in the sky with how it looks and chaos confusion with the path deciding. It's so good, and this is also the stage where you really have to use the command shots, which are shots you can do with certain button presses, but you can't put them to X, Y, and Z buttons with a code that we'll also get into later. Anyways, we get to one of the most conflicting parts of the stage, the top of the castle, as I call it. This is where even more enemies spawn in a pattern. The ghosts, the weird fire things with faces, Sukuna's fingers, and... where are you back? But lucky he only comes back like once or twice, but the boss with a jump scare. It's like some night thing with the head of the fruits that show up after you hit them. Wait, what's that? Oh! Look, I hate that pumpkin thing too, but that's a bit too far, man. But this boss is also really cool, and probably has some implications that probably blow my head. Like, the boss is for real called the knight who abandoned his soul. That's just really cool. But yeah, this boss is pretty easy if you know what to do, but anyways, the cutscene. Yeah, I'm talking about the cutscene for once. So, it starts out with the devs flexing the Sega Saturn 3D and the light, and then Saturn 3D, and then the light shines. And then we have Off-Brand Draco. This is Wool. She's pretty much the classic evil villain who just does it to just be doing shit, which I respect. Anyways, she's kinda just talking while war farming, but sadly Kai and Apple are fighting over the water well, so they'll get to see it. But yeah, I just kinda found this cutscene cool. Now, onto the last part of the game, the final boss. This boss is actually quite cool. I found it really interesting how Will goes into the background for a little bit, and you have to dodge the weird things from stage 5. But yeah, this boss is pretty cool. And it's actually pretty hard to cheese, which is really nice. I like a boss that's like hard to cheese on like your first playthrough. Something like you could cheese almost every boss in some way in your first playthrough, but besides this one. But I just think, yeah, this is a pretty cool boss. I like it. Great way to end this game. It's an amazing game. Now let's get into the final cutscene and the ending of the game. So the ugly fat shut up king is holding my thing at the meeting because Apple has to say something. Well, Cotton looks around like a confused child, and Apple confesses to how she stole the water wheel, and then we see what I presume is Apple's mother. Anyways, she talks about how we're a kingdom and stuff like that, stuff like, I don't care, politics, kingdom politics, yada yada. But of course, Cotton's there, and well, of course, if I also was dragged into a castle that I had nothing to do with, I would probably be asking questions, and well, before Cotton could really get her questions answered, well, I guess asked and answered, she gets a stomachache. Turns out, Cotton got laced. Like the water wheel was laced. Like the one I had earlier in the video. It got laced like the one I had earlier in the video. It looks aside, she ate the water willow. The apple was looking for. And then they have a standoff until the ugly fat Chud King, which scares them off to leave. And well, of course, the water willow was the thing that kept the Home Kingdom alive. And of course, it fell over time, and the land was overtaken by those pumpkins. And well, we get to the credits. let's get to my general thoughts on the game.
Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright in the beautiful sea. I choose to be happy. You and I, we're like diamonds in the sky.
I think this game's really good. This is actually one of my first shoot-em-ups. This is a really great way to get into the genre, and I can really see the care put into this game. Most kids had about 8 years to make it. While there were a few games here and there, and a few remakes of the first game, aka Commodore 100, and a few others, which I think Commodore 100 is a remake of the first Con for the SNES, which was made because they wanted to put the first Con into the NES, but I mean, it's SNES, but because it was near impossible, which seems weird because games like Wheel 1 and Wheel 2, which were on the same arcade hardware, were able to be ported without many changes, but whatever, I'm not those knowledgeable on arcade hardware. But yeah, I think this game was really good. You can see all the care and love, and of course, it did have a good amount of time to be worked on in the game. Well, I'm glad about it. Of course, there were some things unused and cut, but that's every game. But speaking of that, let's get into the development. We don't know much about Con 2's development. Trust me, I looked and looked. We may not have its history, but we do know a lot of the artwork, like a bunch of old logos, tile screens, a few prototype sprites, and all of the sprites and custom sprites and stages, and even the raw drawings. But you may be wondering, guys, where did you find all this? Well, Success decided to make a disc for Windows to promote Con 2 called Con 2 Tenkomori, which I can't find the meaning of besides some food, but it's the disc, not a PC port. No, we would have to wait about 24 years for that. It just had a bunch of mini games, like a memory game, rock paper scissors, and other stuff. But inside the files, which is everything, even prototype cutscene stuff, which I would love to see reanimated, but we probably won't unless I do it. Yeah, probably not. I already got too much in the works to animate it. And I don't feel like relearning Flash, because if I do, it might take that'll probably take months, and I don't want to do that. But yeah, there are also some tile screen sprites, which I wish they used because it's 10 times better. Like, not to shame the one we have already, but just look at the other unused ones. I wish we knew, but I do wish we knew more about development. But oh well. We still got a lot of cool things. I like the prototype Con sprites. They seem to use the colors more akin to the first Con game, but yeah, that's all I have to say. Now, as I said earlier, there were differences between the Saturn version and arcade. I should probably get to that now. There aren't many differences besides changes in stage looks, at least from what I can tell. And I don't feel like writing about how the moon and how screens spread in the Saturn port. And I'm already showing the differences in gameplay with like text and like Saturn arcade. At least I hope. And yeah. But anyways, now let's get into the real meat and potatoes. Cotton Boomerang. Alright, now that that's done, as I said earlier, there was a remake version of Cotton 2 with new characters, most of which are recolored versions of the characters with new powers, new enemies. Do we need a section? The section's not needed. As I said many times before, Cotton Boomerang is a remixed version of Cotton 2, with a bunch of changes, like stage, layouts, new characters, and this is also the first game, I think, where you can play as Silk and Needle. And there's also some new characters, like Purple Cotton, Yellow Cotton, Blue and Pink Cotton, Black Apple. Man, I bet she's a bad apple, bad apple, bad apple. Sorry, I had to. I've been getting into Toho recently. Of course, I'm not going to be reviewing stage by stage, just because if I do that, I might lose my mind. And also, I have a deadline for this video, and I need it to be out by the end of March. And also, because I would not have much to say, besides a few things. The stages are a lot better than the originals, especially the last 3 stages. Stage 5 remixes Akayashi Swamp, and instead of in a cave, for most of it, you're just in hell. Like, no bit, this is hell. This looks like hell. And you know what? It's low-key kinda heat. Pun entirely unintended. But anyways, stage 6 is old school. I have not much to say on it besides, it was fun. And a better version of Mysterious Chapel, which is already my favorite stage, so you can't really ruin it unless you force me to beat all of Puyo 7 mid-stage. Then yeah, it would be mid, but lucky us, Puyo 7 was not out at that time, so it could not even ruin anything yet. And the redone boss descent, it's a whole stage. This time, it's like 6, and this time it's like the stage 6 boss and the stage 7 boss from Con 2. But better. I don't think I could explain the words, so I'll play gameplay. That's pretty cool, isn't it? That's pretty much all I have to say, stage-wise, and gameplay-wise. Now let's speedrun through the other stuff that we'll see the gameplay changes. There's so many stutterings, but I don't care enough. Anyways, let's get into the gameplay changes. The game has no life bar. Instead, you can only take about 2 hits before getting shanked. The special attacks are also gone. Instead, you have this flashbang, a light that happens when you switch characters, or even try to switch characters when you're out. And also, when you die, you get to change your characters. Also, when you beat a stage, you don't get cutscenes. Yeah, they de-cutscene the game, which I'm fine with, because I thought in the stage you get some really nice art. Anyways, that's all. I think that's all the changes. Anyways, as I said before, this is a really good game. It has arcade game challenge I love. It's just really fun, I love it. It is a hard game to play, but still. Sadly, if you do want the game physically, well, yeah. But lucky us, both Con 2 and Boomerang are one of the only few Saturn games to be re-released. Specifically for Cotton's 30th anniversary, for Switch and PS4 and PC. But I have a Saturn, and 100% legal method. Well, yes, I did record the gameplay from a Saturn emulator, mostly because I don't have a capture card, because I'm broke. I would have downloaded to it, but he's out eating at the automatic loss on servers that I forgot I brought to this island. But yeah, it's a good game. It also has a stage called Arrow Castle, and if you did not know, I go by Arrow Online. Yeah, if you see this account roaming by on Discord, that's me. Feel free to DM me or something. If your DM me interests me enough, I might reply. Anyways, I hope I've convinced you at least one of you to play the game, especially because you can get it on other consoles outside of Saturn, which is rare. Actually, you can play every common game in some way, and you should play them. Yes, you should play every common game. Come Rainbow is one of my favorite stuff. You play it. Hey Joyce, the house finished being rebuilt. Oh, that was in reality me. Thanks for a new house. Yeah, of course. Anyways, how much do I owe you for this? Like 100, 200? Nah, you good. You're me after all, just from another timeline. Oh, thanks, man. Of course, man. My man! Well, anyways, I'm heading back to my timeline. See ya. If you need anything. See ya. Anyways, I should tell Modus about the new house. And also, he's been at that Long John Silver's for too long. It can't be that good.
Sure love eating my 2-piece fish basket, popcorn shrimp basket with a side of mac and cheese with crumb, please.
Hey Modus, the cabinet's done being rebuilt.
That was quick. I thought it would take weeks, hell even months.
Nah, he works fast.
Ah, I see. Wait, who is this he?
Anyways, let's go check it out, cause I've not seen it yet either.
That doesn't answer my question.
Wow. He did a good job on it.
Yeah, sure, he did, but still, who is this he you keep rambling about?
Well, let's check it out.
That doesn't answer my f***ing question. Who is he? Better not be that
Cardinal!
alternate timeline version you I met back in 87.
Hello everyone, non-YouTube Plenty Man tries here. I just want to say, thank you so much for watching this video. I know it was a bit rushed, and I did not get to cover everything I wanted, but I did the best I could, and I'm happy with it. And thank you so much for watching this far. This video has been in the works for a while, like late December this year, and now it's out, and I'm so happy. And trust me, all this time, the next video is definitely gonna be... Oh my god! Why did I get kicked